So, I guess let's start with magistrate court. Deborah, do you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay. And I've got my kitchen timer. We're going to do 5 minutes each, and then we'll do question and answer after everybody's done.
You'll have to pardon me this evening. I've caught my 15-year-old son's cold, so my voice comes and goes. I apologize. My name is Deborah Potts. I am running for the magistrate judge. I graduated in 1992 with an associate degree in paralegal studies, and I have been working for an attorney, for different attorneys for the past 20 years. I currently work for Scott Tolbert and Rob Russell, who are in Jefferson, Georgia. We do criminal defense and bankruptcies. I am very familiar with the court system and know how they operate. Both of the attorneys I work for are also municipal court judges, and I do and can help them with their municipal court cases at times. Thank you.
I want to thank the Democrat Party for having us, and Diane, you and David, make sure you get some good pictures of it. I want to start with my education. I attended Truett McConnell. I have over 600 hours at the University of Georgia School of Law, ICJE. I am certified through the Office of Dispute Resolution and Domestic Mediation. I am certified in basic and advanced mediation. I am certified from the Department of Justice in judicial security. I am certified through the Crime Information Center, which is a division of the GBI. I do both offender-based tracking. I am the terminal agency coordinator. I am also a TAC for our court. I have 6 certifications from the Emergency Management Institute. Also, I have been certified from Piedmont College for participating in their criminal justice intern program. I want to tell you a little bit about what I belong to. I'm a member of the Oglethorpe County Chamber of Commerce. I'm a member of the Oglethorpe County Farm Bureau. I'm a member of the Georgia Magistrate Court Council. And I'm a member of Millstone Baptist Church, which I attend regularly. Also, I'm a member of the school system's truancy panel. I'm also a member of the Oglethorpe County Child Abuse and Child Protocol Committee. I served 22 years as chairman of that committee. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that I'm passionate about the magistrate court. I've been there for 30 years, and I want one more term. I put my whole heart and soul. This position, like all of the elected positions here, is an office where you have to be physically responsible. My budget, Billy Pitter's here, he can attest to it, is always balanced. Auditor's report has always been perfect. So ladies and gentlemen, you have to be accountable. If you're not accountable, you can't hold these jobs. So I ask respectfully that you consider re-voting for me and let me serve one more term. Thank you.
I too would like to thank the Democratic Party for hosting it and inviting me to participate. I appreciate that very much. My name is Kayla Harris Miller, and I'm running for probate judge. I was born and raised in Oglethorpe County. My parents are Stevie and Donna Harris. I'm married to Brandon Miller, and we have 2 children, Ava Lou and Izzy. I have degrees in both paralegal studies and criminal justice, and I currently work in the probate court for Judge Beverly Nation. I have a desire to serve the citizens of Oglethorpe County, and I'm a firm believer that how much you enjoy what you do directly affects the quality of your work. And I have thoroughly enjoyed learning the processes and procedures of probate court, and I would love to continue to serve this great county. I would appreciate your vote and support.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Sherilyn Williams, and I'm running for probate judge in Oglethorpe County. I too am from this county, and my family's from this county. My grandfather and great-grandfather actually used to be sheriffs a long time ago. And also my great-great-grandfather was actually the ordinary, which was the probate judge of the time, I think, back many years ago. So, as I said, I'm from here. I graduated from Oglethorpe County High School, and Then I went into law enforcement, and I have approximately 20 years of law enforcement experience. And while I was employed at the University of Georgia Police Department, I put myself through school while working full-time and graduated with a bachelor's degree. And then I most recently worked for the sheriff here in Oglethorpe County as a captain at the sheriff's office. And I would like to take the decision-making skills and the mediation skills that I learned during that time while I was employed in law enforcement to help families in their times of struggling with wills or guardianship of minors. Those cannot be easy times for families. And also I feel very comfortable with my knowledge of the law. I feel like I have a very good working knowledge of it, and would be able to fairly adjudicate traffic citations and misdemeanor marijuana citations. I have spent my life serving the public and would like to continue serving this county that I love so much, and I appreciate your time and support. And I forgot to mention my beautiful daughter back there, that I'm a proud mother of this young lady back here, who is embarrassed now. But I have a 12-year-old daughter named Maddie, and so I'd really like to spend the next 4 years being your probate judge, and I would appreciate your vote and support. Thank you, and have a great night.
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. Thank the Democratic Party for putting this on for us. My name is Steve Jones. I'm a longtime resident of Oglethorpe County. I've lived in the Beaver Dam area all my life. My mom and dad are Clifford and Effie Jones. I've been married to my wonderful wife, Judy, for the last 32 years. I'm a 1982 graduate of Oglethorpe County High School. A year after high school, I went to work for the University of Georgia in business services. Worked up under a gentleman by the name of Fred Foster. We had on payroll and student grades for the university. In 1993, I changed careers, and I've been in law enforcement. This is my 24th year in law enforcement. I currently work at the Oglethorpe County Sheriff's Office. I hold a position as chief investigator. I'm also over the security for the courts and also over all the evidence. So paperwork is nothing new to me. And keeping files and making sure everything's right is, and the sheriff can attest, when if I do it, it's right. I am seeking the office of probate judge. My experience in law enforcement and dealing with the court systems and being there, I understand what each and every court does. I also have connections with every court, not only probate court, but with magistrate, superior court. I've worked with all these people for the last 24 years. And I sure would appreciate your support and your vote. Any questions, y'all feel free to call me anytime. And I'll sit down with you one-on-one, or we'll talk. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you, Democrat, for having us here. It's an honor and a privilege to be up here standing before you as your sheriff. I'm seeking my 4th term as sheriff. I've been working for Oglethorpe County for over half my life, I guess. Started at a young age, been working for the sheriff's office for 35 years. Started off as a dispatcher for my dad when he was a sheriff, and worked my way all the way up to investigator, where I served majority of my time being the chief investigator. I enjoy being the sheriff. It's a long life dream that I've accomplished with God's help, and it's truly a blessing. I had to manage a $2.5 million budget, and Billy can attest that I always stayed within the guidelines of my budget. I know how to run the office of sheriff. The sheriff is a lot more than ripping up and down the road stopping people. It's an administrative job. I've seen a lot of changes during my tenure as a sheriff, from the old school tactics to modern day tactics. We've come a long ways in 35 years. The manpower has increased. The commissioners, I've worked closely with the county commissioners and all other elected officials. So I'm going to keep running until the Lord tells me not to. And I appreciate your vote and support. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to the Democratic Party as well for having us this evening. We sure appreciate it, and it's nice to get out and see all of y'all and talk a little bit. I guess y'all want a little backstory. I was born and raised in the county. I live over on Highway 22. You probably know where my granddad's vet office is, and then also my father's old dairy farm where the blue silos are. I graduated from Madison County High School in 2009, and I went to Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College. Spent a year down there, and I decided college wasn't for me. I didn't want to be in college anymore, and I decided to join the United States Marine Corps. And my mom had a fit. She was not happy at all. She cried a lot, and I said, well, let's compromise. So I joined the United States Marine Corps Reserves and was able to stay in college. And May 9th, 2011, I was standing on yellow footprints in Parris Island, South Carolina, and I decided there that, yeah, college is for me. I think I'll go back and try college again. So I graduated from Abraham Baldwin in 2012 and came to the University of Georgia, and I graduated there in 2013 with a bachelor's degree in animal science, and stayed in the Marine Corps for 3.5 years. It was good experience. I learned a lot, and never had to go overseas or anything like that. And I know my mom was happy about that. And I got out in 2014, I believe. I got out, and been here ever since. And 2014, when I got out, you know, in the Marine Corps, weren't able to grow a beard. So I grew a nice beard, and it started getting noticed. People started saying, "Dang, he's got a lot of facial hair. You must be out of the Marine Corps." And I said, "Yes, I am." And more and more people started saying, "Have you ever thought about politics? Have you ever thought about being involved in politics? You're college educated. You have a military background." And I said, "No, politics is not for me. Not for me. I want to farm. That's where my heart is running tractors, growing crops. I want to farm." And it rocked on. And early in 2015, enough people came to me and said, "Please run. Please consider getting involved. Please run for this position." That I started thinking back to what the man yelling in my face a quarter inch from my nose in 2011 would have said if he knew that people were reaching out to me for help and I wasn't helping them. So I decided right there that, all right, I'll throw my name in there. And there's been several things that have upset me in the past and got me involved in politics, got me thinking about it, and it's really been wearing on me hard. In 2015, I gave my life to Jesus Christ, and that's something that I'm very proud of, but it's also in 2015 that I've been led to where I'm at right now. So I'm running on very simple principles. It's honesty, integrity, and transparency. If I tell you something, you can take it to the bank. Integrity, I'll take responsibility for all my actions. And transparency, you'll always know that if you have a question, you can come ask me, and you'll probably know the answer and won't have to be asking me. But if you want to know, call me. My number on all my cards is my cell phone number. I will always answer. The Marine Corps used to have a saying, Marines always answer that call, and I still answer that call. But I hope I didn't take up too much of y'all's time. I know we've got lots of folks that want to talk, but if y'all have any questions, y'all can ask me right now. I think there's a Q&A session.
We'll get through everybody and then we'll do questions.
Well, we can do it afterwards then. But I sure appreciate it. I sure appreciate all y'all's support. Thank you.
I guess I should thank the Democratic Party, but since I'm a chair of the Democratic Party, I don't know, I'm thanking myself. But I'm glad a lot of people are here tonight. We are glad to have the community showing their interest in the the politics of this season. A lot of you know me. For those that don't know me, I'm not from here, but I've lived here for 34 years. I was born and raised in eastern North Carolina in a small town agricultural community of about 500 people. Tobacco was our main crop, and that was my first job, was picking tobacco at age 12. We got 50 cents an hour, got paid at the end of the season, so at the time it seemed like a good deal, but I don't think now I've got a different attitude about it now. But that was where I was born and raised, was in an agricultural community. My dad ran a hardware store for more than 50 years, and like a lot of small businessmen, Walmart came to town, and he was finally shut down by that. And that was the other life experience I had early on, is I worked in his store. And when you work in the hardware store, you know, you meet all kinds of people. You meet, you know, construction workers, plumbers, gardeners, everybody from every walk of life. And one of the important things my father always taught me was that everybody deserves respect, and you treat everybody equally, and everybody has worth. And that's really one of the things that I've always believed in, is that no matter who you are important. So I went to college. I went to North Carolina State, and I thought I wanted to be a biologist, but then I changed my mind. There weren't any jobs, and so I ended up going to law school at the University of Georgia. So I graduated there in 1982. And once I graduated, I started deciding where I wanted to live. And being from a small town, I really wanted to live out in the country. And I started driving around, and Oglethorpe County just has some of the most beautiful rolling hills and beautiful countryside. And I was fortunate that we were able to find a house in Wolfskin Community. And so for 34 years, I've lived in Wolfskin Community. I've watched Oglethorpe County grow some. It hasn't grown a whole lot. There are things that have changed. But I feel like that as an attorney, I've been a small business person. I've run a law firm for about 30 years. I've been the boss of the law firm. And I know people think lawyers probably do different than what lawyers really do. But I see myself as a problem solver. Lawyers are in the business. People come to you with a problem, and you have to solve it. And most of the time, it's not winning or losing. It's resolving a problem. And that requires being open, gathering all the facts, applying the rules and the regulations and the law, and then trying to fashion a solution. And so I think those are skills that would serve me well as a county commissioner. It seems to me that our county is at a point we need to move in the future. And we have limited resources. Our tax digest has decreased in general since the recession. I think that's not uncommon. Probably every person in this room knows something that we should be spending more money on. Roads, law enforcement, the senior citizen, the library, animal control, EMS, the fire department, all of those are very important. And all of those things deserve funding. But the reality is, you got to come up with the money. Unlike a lot of counties, we don't get very much money from commercial businesses. Most of our property taxes comes from homeowners. And so if we're going to increase our tax base, which is a source of revenue, we need to have economic growth in the county. And so that's one of my goals, is to encourage economic growth that preserves all those things that are good about Oglethorpe County. I mean, I think we have lots of potential for outdoor activities. We've got a growing art community. We've got historic locations. We've got growing retail establishments. We've got opportunities for agritourism. And all of those things will help raise the tax base, and it also will employ people in Oglethorpe County, which, most people drive to Athens to go to work. And so if we can have more jobs here in Oglethorpe County, that will also help the community. The other source of revenue for Oglethorpe County is sales tax. Well, if people don't have anything to spend money on, they're not going to spend it here. They're going to go to Athens. And so economic growth will also hopefully mean that people will spend their money here in Oglethorpe County, and that will increase our sales tax. But until we have a way to pay for things, we obviously just can't start spending money unless we have it. So I'm the only one to run out of time, that's because I'm a lawyer. But I do look forward to your votes and to your question, and I guess my last thing is that the cleanup day on Saturday is an example of what I want to foster too, is that for people to care about their community and be involved in the community, come to forums and go to county commissioner meetings and show that what you care about in Oglethorpe County. Thank you.
Thank you for having me tonight and for having this forum. It's wonderful to see everybody here. My name is Joyce Hardman Smith. I am running for School Board of Education for District 4. I was born in Oglethorpe County. My parents were Guy and Neil Hardman. They lived in Arnoldville. That's where I grew up. That's where I still live. I graduated from high school, from Oglethorpe County High School in 1976. I have 4 daughters. The oldest 2 graduated from Oglethorpe County High School. They've gone on to have great careers and opportunities. One's a nurse. One's going to be a lawyer soon. I have 2 other children who are in 3rd grade and 6th grade. I live in Arnoldville with my husband, Danny, and I love Oglethorpe County. And I'm very passionate about our school system. I think one of the ways for our community to grow is by having a good school system. People who are going to look at Oglethorpe County and want to move here are going to first, if they have children, look at our school system. And it needs to be somewhere that they want their children to come to. It needs to be somewhere that teachers want to teach. And that's how we're going to grow our county. I went to the University of Georgia after I graduated from high school. I got a bachelor's of business administration and accounting. And then I went to work for a public accounting firm and became a CPA. Shortly thereafter, I went to work at the University of Georgia, and I worked there for 30 years, and I retired 3 or 4 years ago. So I now stay at home and raise my 2 daughters and help with my 2 grandsons, who are twins, who are going to go to Oglethorpe County schools also. I worked at the University of Georgia at first a physical plant for 17 years. And physical plant does everything like the maintenance, the grounds, the custodial work. They do all the utilities, they do all the maintenance, and they take care of all of the campus. Most people who go to school there don't even know that physical plant exists. I didn't when I went to school there. But I managed a budget of about $50 million, and I understand what it takes. I was exposed to construction, to utilities, to maintenance and custodial work, and how to take care of grounds. After I left there, I went to Auxiliary Services, and I worked there for 7 years. Auxiliary Services is responsible for the food services, the buses, the parking, printing, and the golf course. So I have a lot of exposure. I ended my career in Auxiliary Services in charge of parking and transportation. So I was in charge of all the parking and all the bus system at the University of Georgia. I then moved on to the Athletic Association and oversaw all their accounting. I spent 6 years there, and while I was there, we maintained facilities, we added on to facilities, we built new facilities, and so I had a lot of exposure to what athletic facilities need to be, what they need to do. Although this was on a higher education level, we know what high school kids are looking for when they go to college. I think that all of my experience at the University of Georgia will transfer very well into the public school system here at Georgia, because I feel like I've got a very well-rounded background in all the things that we have to do in the Board of Education, in advising, and taking into consideration how we'll spend your tax money. The vast majority of your taxes, about 75%, goes to the school system. And again, the only way we can do a lot of the things that people want to do is to be able to increase our tax base. And I do think that our school system's great. It's given me wonderful opportunities. It's given my daughters wonderful opportunities. And I think it's going to give our future generations wonderful opportunities, and that's my main focus. I would appreciate your support, and thank you very much.
Just like to say good evening to everyone. And I also would like to say thank you for this opportunity. Advocating on behalf of the educational needs of the children of Oglethorpe County on a local, state, national level, implementing policies on all levels, developing and adopting budgets, making crucial decisions regarding personnel, adopting unifying visions and missions, soliciting the participation and input of the community, last but not least, asking lots and lots of questions, and praying that I make the right decision has been what I've gone through the last few years as a school board member. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Marilyn Huffwaller, a lifelong resident of Oglethorpe County, a product of the Oglethorpe County school system, married, have 3 daughters, 2 of which graduated from the Oglethorpe County school system and have gone on to higher levels of education. And I currently have a daughter that's a freshman here in the county. Years ago, when I initially decided to run for school board, I was asked the question, why would you want to run for school board? I shared I don't have a personal agenda, but I want to give back. I want a way to be involved in the betterment of the future of our generations. You may ask me now that you've had the opportunity to serve, do you have all the answers? Have you memorized all the policies? Do you know all the many acronyms that the school throw around every day? Do you know all the budget codings? I hate to disappoint you, but I don't. Yes, I am willing to find out the many answers that you may have. And I continue to do research and make every effort to do whatever's necessary to have the best interests of the Oglethorpe children at heart. You will never, ever hear me say that I know it all, because I don't. You will never hear me say that I promise that I, myself, Marilyn, will make sure that what you ask me to do will come to be, because I can't. I'm one person with one vote with a group of 5. Whereas I may feel strongly about a particular issue that you bring to me, I'll be happy to be your voice, and take it back to the school board. I care about the children of Oglethorpe County, and I want the best for each and every one of them. Oglethorpe means a lot to me personally, so therefore I try to continue to help make a difference. I try to stay involved where I can and where it's possible. Presently, I'm an active member of the Oglethorpe County Lions Club, a member of the Oglethorpe County Adult Education Advisory Board, a member of the Senior Center Advisory Board. For more than 12 years, I've served on the Community Day Planning Committee to help join our families and build our communities. I serve as a 4-H and FFA volunteer, a mentor, and work in my church in various committees. I previously served on the Board of Registrars for 19 years. Lastly, I just want to say, I believe and I want us to strive to make the district-wide school slogan a daily practice. Excellence for every student, every day. Thank you.
First of all, I can apologize for my attire. I have a soon-to-be 5-year-old who signed up for soccer. They didn't have enough coaches. With my wife's very strong encouragement, I became one of their coaches. We had practice tonight, so I do apologize. I guess when we started, I was born Athens Regional. My parents bought a chicken farm when I was about 6 years old, moved to Oglethorpe County in Devil's Pond, grew up on a farm, went to Athens Christian School, graduated, got out of that, went to work for the University of Georgia. I spent 28 and a half years in the welding shop as a maintenance machinist. Probably the last 5 years I was assistant foreman, helped in day-to-day operations. I worked on everything, pumps, air compressors, hydraulics, pneumatics, had to figure out problems. I worked with other shops like you would do here. I know people think coroner's right here. Well, the coroner has to work with the sheriff's office, commissioner's office. You have to work with everyone. So as assistant foreman in the welding shop, I had to coordinate with all these other shops and work together to figure out problems, to fix problems. I went from there to the steam plant about a year ago as foreman. So I'm actually foreman at UGA steam plant. Been at UGA for 29 years. I'm in my 30th year. About 20 years ago, I got into EMS as a first responder. Did that for a couple of years. I spent about 2 years as first responder, and I went through EMT school, became EMT, and I've been involved in that for approximately 20 years. I've assisted on many calls. I've assisted the coroner. I've always been interested in it. I know that doesn't sound like a real interesting field, but you know, I feel like coroner is a position. You know, you got to work with people. This is at their worst moment. You need somebody who's compassionate, caring, and understanding. But you also need someone to look in and make sure there's nothing bad going on. So all I want to do, I've been in the county. Hopefully come January, I'll have my 30 years in, and I'll retire from the UGA. And I'd like to be a coroner. I appreciate your support. And I learn quick. You know, I might not know all the ins and outs, but I will learn it, and I'll do the job to the best of my ability. And if I tell you something, I'll back it, right or wrong. I always have. Just appreciate your support, and thank the Democrat Party for the forum.